Whee! Yep, so that seems to work. Very good. So that's just a little sanity check before you put any more time and effort in to making everything tidy, and then if you have to desolder it, then it's a real pain. So I'm just going to get some cable ties and we'll just tidy this up. So despite my best efforts of searching, I wasn't able to find my clear or transparent cable ties. All I found were these black ones. So these will have to do just at the moment. They can always be replaced later on. So we're just going to try and put one or two, not too many, because these are a bit big. Just gently pulling down. Just trying to arrange all of these and group them together a bit. I'm not doing these zip ties up really tight. I'm just snugging them up, which allows the little wires just to be pulled into some sort of order. Just trying to get these as inconspicuous as a black thing can be on such a structure. So as you can see, that tidies it up a bit. These would be much better if they were white or the clear ones, and also smaller, but we have to work with what we can find at the moment and hopefully correct this maybe later on. So now we can just do the same for the other. So I'm just pulling the slack down, as you can see. Oops. And that just tidies those up. Excellent. Now we'll move on to figuring out how we can assemble the case, so hopefully without breaking any of it. So here are the pieces for the case. They've all got a protective film on them, which I'm leaving on each piece until I need to position it, so that I don't scratch up, because I think this is supposed to be like really nice and clear. So this is the base plate. Again, we have no instructions, so we're trying to figure this out as we go along. There are 4 screw hole positions, and of course they've got the corresponding 4 positions on here. And I think this slot is basically for those programming pins. So I think this has to be mounted this way up. Now we've got some little standoffs that we shall use for this. So we'll attach these standoffs to the circuit board first, as that's going to be the slightly trickier thing. Maybe should have done this before. we put all the rings of LEDs on, but oh well. At least it's big enough that we're able to stick our hand up the middle with the screwdriver. So now we can just peel off the protective film on this. This usually goes really smoothly. Oh, this one's going much easier than normal. As you can see, that's lining up with all of those. Sorry about the reflection on the screen there, reflecting my homemade video light. If you check out my other videos, you can find the build log of that. So now, if I just move this over to one side, so we've got some side pieces. So that's a plain piece. There's one with a large opening. I'm guessing this is the top. We have another one with a large opening, but that looks like a bigger opening. Yes, that is a bigger opening, as you can see. And another one with a smaller opening. So we've got, as you can see there, 3 different sized openings with no indication as to which belongs to which, and one plane. So I guess we'll start with the one plane. That's the easiest one. So let's just peel this off. And we're actually got the plane side up. So that's very good. So the way these go together is using these incredibly fiddly little, I think they're M2 nuts and bolts. Now what you can do is, let me just get this off. You can thread on at the beginning anyway. Oh. I hope they give you extras of these. They usually do, because you end up dropping them. But you can start that nut onto there, and then usually there's enough clearance to be able to just start this. And get that done. Alright. So now we have a bit of a guessing game as to whether that is for that one. So it's either that one. It can't be for this one, because we've got the notches the same, but it could be for that one. That's a little tricky to press that, whereas that is easier. I think the switch is for the big one, but if we turn this over, we can try out this on here, and we can still operate that. So I'm guessing it is that way around. Well, seeing as we're in this position, let's do this one. I presume these are symmetrical and it doesn't matter whether it goes this way up or flipped over. Could be very wrong in that, of course. So let's just see what we can do. Start our nut off. Slightly. Right. Okay, we're getting a bit more solid. I think at this point I'm going to put the lid on because I have a feeling I could... Oh, well, maybe the lid can go on at the end. Yeah, the lid should be able to go on at the end. So now it's this piece. It's getting quite a stable structure now. We've got 3 of the sides on. Just double check. Yep, that fits in nicely there. There. And that's why you leave the lid off. There we go, I can tilt this up so less glare. And we can pop in these. You can put these in after putting the plastic bits together. You just need to use some tweezers to hold the nut. But it's as fiddly as this is, it's 20 times more fiddlier. So you're just better off doing it this way. I've found anyway, for me. Now, as you can see, these sort of bend down and don't fit in right, but if you just advance them in, they will sort of catch, and if you just gently tighten them until you've got all of these in place, and then you're able to make sure that it is pressed in place before you finally tighten it up. And you don't have to go mad on tightening it, it's just snugging it down, especially when you've got a big screwdriver. It's easy to over tighten things. And so it'll be the same with these side ones. And just snug them. And there we go. So let me just adjust the lights and we can plug this in and fire it up. See what it looks like with everything finished. So here we go. We've powered it up. As you can see, the lower LEDs are on all the time. You can either use the remote or you can press the button on the front to start different modes. If you press the power button on the remote, it turns it off. Menu doesn't seem to do anything. The test, well, that puts everything on. There are different modes, and including is some writing. But it's sort of hard to make out because you see the LEDs on the background as well. I've got an idea that I'm going to try out. I'll just go through these modes quickly. Some of them have writing, some of them are just patterns. We seem to be looking at it from the side. The patterns seem to start from this side. So my idea is to take the lid off and then just put basically a piece of paper inside, just coiled around, so that you don't see what's on the back when you're looking at it. I think that might look interesting. I'll give that a try and come back to you. So let's put a little piece of paper, just ordinary photocopier paper, on the inside, and it just makes the text as it scrolls by much more readable. So I think I will keep that in there. I don't know whether to experiment with trying some maybe matte black, see how that looks, but certainly the white makes it more readable. As you can see, we've got other texts that can be put on. And of course, other patterns which are swamping out the camera, because I've had to lower the exposure just to be able to really show what it looks like. If there's a very slight flicker coming across, it's the camera. In reality, you can't see any flicker, just a little juddering as it moves its way around the circle. So that's been a lot of fun to build, and also to figure out exactly how this went together with no instructions. But we got there in the end. We hope it's been of some help, at least some entertainment. Perhaps if you've bought this kit, you might be wondering how to put it together, so maybe this might help you. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.